She forced the single father to sign his resignation on the spot, but just 1 day later, he walked back in as the company's new owner. Tell us your city, hit subscribe, and get ready for today's story. The ending, absolutely unforgettable. Marcus Chen's hands were raw. 6 months of scrubbing floors at Tech Vision Corp had turned his palms into maps of chemical burns and calluses. The 4:30 a.m. alarm screaming in the dark never got easier. Neither did leaving his 8-year-old daughter Lily sleeping before sunrise. "Why does Daddy leave when it's still dark?" she'd asked Mrs. Rodriguez. The neighbor had told him with sad eyes, but Marcus never complained, not when executives walked past him like wallpaper, not when his $18 an hour paycheck, $1,970 every 2 weeks after taxes, barely covered their $2,100 monthly rent in Daly City. 5:47 a.m. Marcus pushed his cleaning cart down the executive floor, metal wheels squeaking against marble that cost more per square foot than most people earned daily. His Navy uniform had M. Chen stitched over the pocket. Through glass walls, the Golden Gate Bridge caught first light, bay waters dark below. 18 months ago, Marcus had watched Shanghai's Huangpu River from a 52nd-floor corner office. Back then, he wore Tom Ford suits and closed billion-dollar deals before lunch. Different city, different life, different Marcus. Now his back ached, his knees protested. His hands smelled perpetually of bleach, no matter how many times he scrubbed them. But this was the price of understanding. His father's final lesson. Elena Brooks swept out of the elevator in red-soled Louboutins, clicking like a countdown timer. 33, Stanford MBA, CEO for 14 months. She'd transformed Tech Vision from struggling legacy company to $2-3 billion AI powerhouse. Forbes cover, the Ice Queen of Tech. Employees whispered worse. Her Cartier watch caught the light, $15,000 on her wrist, more than Marcus earned in 10 months as a janitor. Her lipstick was perfect at 5:47 a.m. She didn't glance at him, invisible. Marcus had studied Elena Brooks for 179 days. Every decision, every firing, 3 in his first month, all people with families. Poor cultural fit, she wrote. Translation, they had lives outside work. Richard Chen's will was clear. Marcus had to work anonymously 6 months at every company level before claiming his 80% stake. "You can't lead people you don't understand," his father wrote. So Marcus became invisible, learning how Elena treated people when she thought no one important watched. Tomorrow was day 180. Everything would change. "Mr. Chen," David Park, VP of Operations, jogged over with coffee. "Morning, Marcus. Early even for you." "Building broken into?" Marcus asked, keeping his voice neutral. "No, emergency meeting at 6 more a.m. Elena's probably firing someone." David shook his head. "She's ruthless." Marcus nodded and pushed his cart toward conference room A. Through the partially open door, Elena's voice cut like glass. "We're cutting costs 15% before next month's board meeting. Start with facilities. Those janitors make $18 an hour plus benefits. Outsource the whole department for half that." Marcus's hand stilled. 37 families. Gone. Maria sending money to Honduras, James saving for his daughter's wedding, Luis with his grandson, all disposable to save $200,000. "There's something else." Elena's voice dropped. "Richard Chen's will has a clause activating tomorrow, some contingency." "What kind?" David asked. "They wouldn't say, doesn't matter, this is my company now." Marcus straightened. She didn't know. The board had kept their word. Elena thought Tech Vision was hers, through 80-hour weeks and ruthless efficiency. Tomorrow she'd learn different. He finished his 12-hour shift at 2 p.m. His beat-up 2009 Honda Civic with 187,000 miles waited in employee parking. He'd bought it for $3,200 cash. It leaked oil but ran. Lily launched herself at him when he picked her up from Mrs. Rodriguez's. "Daddy, I got an A on my spelling test." Marcus's heart clenched. Tomorrow his daughter would learn Daddy wasn't just a janitor, but tonight he was still Marcus Chen, making $18 an hour. Their 650-square-foot apartment felt smaller every day. One bedroom, Lily's. Marcus slept on a pull-out couch, IKEA furniture assembled wrong, but walls covered in Lily's artwork made it home. "Daddy?" Lily looked up from homework, pencil frozen. "Tommy said his dad might lose his job. Is your job safe?" 8 years old and already scared of losing everything, like she'd lost her mother to cancer 3 years ago. Marcus crouched, took her small hands in his rough ones. "Tomorrow things change, good changes, but remember, every person matters. The man cleaning floors, the woman answering phones, they all have families, kids like you. I know, Daddy. Don't ever forget it. Promise? Promise." That night at 11:34 p.m., Marcus sat on his pull-out couch, laptop open. Email from his attorney. "How do you want to play tomorrow? Element of surprise." Marcus typed back, "I'll be there at 9 a.m. as the janitor. Let her fire me publicly, in front of the executive team. Let her show who she is when she thinks no one important is watching." He closed the laptop. Tomorrow, Elena Brooks would learn that the janitor she'd ignored was about to become her future. 6 a.m. Marcus stood outside Tech Vision Corp in his navy blue janitor uniform, staring up at the 34-story glass tower that pierced the San Francisco sky. The building his father had conceived in 1988, built from a 5-person garage startup into a tech empire. The sun was rising behind it, turning the glass facade into a wall of fire and gold. He'd arrived an hour early, couldn't sleep. His mind kept running through every possible scenario, every outcome, every word Elena might say when she realized who he was. His phone buzzed. Text from his attorney, David Chen, no relation. Board confirmed. 9 a.m. conference room A. Everyone will be there. You sure about this? We can still do it the clean way. Marcus typed back with thumbs still rough from yesterday's work. Yes, I'm sure. Another buzz. Jennifer Wu, board member who'd known his father for 30 years. Marcus, you don't have to put yourself through this humiliation. We can just announce the transfer, professional, dignified. Why make it painful? Because it's not about me, he replied. It's about showing her who she's become, who she could be. He pocketed his phone, grabbed his cleaning cart from the maintenance room in the basement, the same cart he'd pushed for 179 days, with its squeaky front left wheel and the bottles of industrial cleaner that made his eyes water. But today, every movement felt weighted with meaning, heavy with finality. This was the last day of the disguise, the last day of living on $8 an hour, the last day Elena Brooks would control anything in this building. The executive floor was already buzzing with tension. 6:47 a.m., and every office had its lights on, computers glowing. Elena's emergency meeting had sent everyone scrambling. Marcus parked his cart in the hallway outside conference room B, where junior executives were gathering, their voices tight with stress. He methodically wiped down the water cooler, invisible as always, ears tuned to the conversation filtering through the half-open door. I can't believe she's doing this right before the holidays. Sarah Kim, VP of Marketing, 32 years old, juggling work and 2 kids under 5. Marcus had learned she brought lunch from home every day to save money. My team is already stretched to breaking. If she cuts headcount again, she doesn't care. James Morton, VP of Product, whose wife had just been diagnosed with MS. You know what she told me last week? If they can't handle the pressure, they should work somewhere else. Easy to say when you don't have a mortgage and 3 kids in college. Marcus kept wiping the same spot on the water cooler, his movements methodical, his expression blank. Just the janitor, invisible. Did you hear about the facilities cuts? Sarah's voice dropped to a whisper. She's outsourcing the entire custodial staff. 37 people, gone by next week before Christmas. His hand froze for a fraction of a second. 37 people. Maria, who sent half her 18-an-hour paycheck to her mother fighting cancer in Honduras. James, who'd been saving for 2 years for his daughter's wedding next spring. Luis, 62 years old, who'd just gotten custody of his orphaned grandson. 37 families about to lose income, health insurance, stability. Gone because Elena could save $200,000 a year, less than zero. 0.1% of the company's revenue. That's... Sarah shook her head, genuine pain in her voice. That's cruel. Those are good people, hard workers. That's Elena. James drained his coffee cup, crushed it with one hand. Come on, we're going to be late. They disappeared into the conference room. Marcus straightened, his heart pounding steady and controlled. In Shanghai, he'd negotiated billion-dollar deals across 4 languages without breaking a sweat. He could handle this. 7:15 a.m. The executive meeting broke up, 14 VPs and senior directors filing out wearing variations of the same exhausted, defeated expression. Elena emerged last, phone pressed to her ear, her red lipstick still perfect even at this ungodly hour. Don't care what the board says, Michael. This is my company. I've tripled the stock price in 14 months. They should be thanking me, not questioning my... She stopped mid-sentence. For the first time in 6 months, she looked directly at Marcus, really looked at him. Hold on. She lowered the phone, stared. Marcus kept his expression neutral, deferential, shoulders slightly hunched, the posture of invisibility he'd perfected over 179 days. Just the janitor, ma'am. You... She snapped her fingers, an imperious gesture that made something dark flash through Marcus's chest. The cleaning guy. What's your name again? Marcus Chen, ma'am. Chen. She frowned, and for a moment something flickered in her eyes. Recognition, suspicion, then it was gone. Never mind. I need you to do something. Conference room A on the 22nd floor, full clean, windows, floors, table, everything. The board is meeting there at 9, and it needs to be absolutely spotless. Can you handle that? Marcus's jaw tightened. 37 families before Christmas, 7 to 15 a.m. Elena emerged, phone to her ear. She stopped, looked directly at Marcus for the first time in 6 months. You! She snapped her fingers. Name? Marcus Chen, ma'am. Chen. She frowned. I need conference room A, spotless by 9. The board's meeting there. Can you handle it? The irony suffocated him. She was ordering him to clean the room where she'd learned he owned the company. Yes, ma'am. Conference room A was magnificent. Floor-to-ceiling windows over San Francisco Bay, an $80,000 walnut table, leather chairs at $3,000 each, a $2 million Diebenkorn his father bought in 1997. Marcus cleaned methodically, the room his father built, the legacy he'd protected for 34 years. In 3 hours, it became Marcus's responsibility. At 8:45 a.m., Elena returned. Is it done? Yes, ma'am. She inspected. Acceptable. She studied him. My assistant ran a background check. Nothing came up, just gaps. What were you doing before here? His pulse spiked. Different work, ma'am, in Shanghai. Doing what? Business consulting? Business consulting to janitor. What happened? Personal reasons, ma'am? You have a daughter, don't you? 8 years old? Elena's voice softened slightly. Single parenthood on $18 an hour must be difficult. She moved closer. Tell me, Marcus, do you think you're valuable to this company? Trap. I show up. I do my job. I don't complain. That's not what I asked. Marcus met her eyes. I think every person in this building has value. From the CEO to the person emptying trash, we all matter. Elena's eyes narrowed. Honesty gets you replaced in business, Marcus. She checked her watch. 8:52 a.m. The board will be here soon. You can go. Marcus left. Waited around the corner. At 8:58, board members arrived. Jennifer caught his eye, mouthed, Ready? At 9 a.m., Jennifer's voice, "Elena, we need to talk. Make it quick. I have investors at 10 hours. This might take longer. Richard Chen's will had a provision activating today. Upon completion of a 6-month anonymous work period, his son inherits 80% of shares and assumes chairman and CEO roles." Silence. Richard didn't have a son. He remarried in Shanghai in 1987, Marcus Chen, who's been working here 6 months in various roles, including the past 6 months in facilities maintenance. The silence was explosive. "That's impossible. I would have known. It was legally protected. Richard wanted authentic experience." Jennifer paused. "The janitor you've been ordering around, that's Marcus Chen." "No." Elena's voice strangled. "Where is he?" "Right here." Marcus stepped into the doorway, still in uniform, name tag over his pocket, every head turned. Elena, at the table's end, drained of color. "Hello, Ms. Brooks," Marcus said quietly. "I believe we have a board meeting." Elena didn't move, just stared like Marcus was a ghost. The conference room hummed with silence and distant traffic. "This is a joke." Her voice cracked. She looked at Jennifer, Michael, board members, avoiding her eyes. "The janitor is Richard Chen's son?" "Yes," Jennifer confirmed. "And you all knew." Elena stood, hands shaking as she gripped the table. "You let me humiliate myself." "No one humiliated you," Michael said gently. "You humiliated yourself." The words landed like a slap. "Get out. This is my company. I've worked 80-hour weeks for 14 months. I've tripled the stock price." "You've created a toxic culture," Marcus interrupted quietly. "You've fired 47 people for poor cultural fit. Anyone with families. Cut benefits while taking a $2 million bonus. This morning you outsourced custodial staff. 37 families before Christmas." Elena went white. "How?" "I was there. I heard you." Marcus walked to his father's chair, sat. "For 6 months, I was invisible. I watched how you treat people when you think no one important is looking. You've forgotten that power is a privilege, not a right. You can't give this company to someone who's been pushing a mop." Elena looked at Jennifer. "What does he know about running a tech company?" "He built Chen Group's Asia division from $50 million to $28 billion in 12 years, Jennifer said calmly. "MBA from Wharton, degree in computer engineering from MIT, and he understands what his father built. People matter more than profits." Elena laughed bitterly. "People matter more than profits? Mediocrity disguised as compassion. You think you can lecture me in your janitor costume?" "When was the last time you spoke to someone on the factory floor? Ate in the employee cafeteria? Asked Maria about her mother in Honduras? I don't have time." "You don't have time to care. That's the problem. You see resources to optimize. I see human beings." Elena's eyes blazed. "Your father's philosophy got him a heart attack at 68. He worked himself to death saving people who didn't deserve it. That's martyrdom, not leadership." Several board members gasped. Marcus held up a hand. "You're right. He died at his desk. But not saving people who didn't deserve it. He couldn't bear firing 300 employees during the 2019 downturn. Took personal loans for payroll. Refinanced his house. Sacrificed everything so 300 families kept their health insurance, homes, dignity." Marcus's voice hardened. "Every employee sent flowers to his funeral, cried, told stories about how he helped them. Yes, he was a martyr, but also the best man I've ever known." Elena's face softened momentarily. Then defensive anger returned. "I'm sorry about your father, but you can't run a modern tech company on sentiment. The market is brutal, then we lose our humanity, and without that, what's the point? The point is survival." "No, the point is legacy." Elena stared. "Fine, you win. I assume you want my resignation." "I didn't say that." She stopped. "What? You're brilliant. The numbers don't lie. You've transformed this company." He paused. "But you've lost sight of what makes companies great, and I think you can remember." "Remember what?" "Where you came from." Marcus pulled up an article on his phone, slid it across. San Jose Mercury News 2008. Local high school student wins full scholarship despite homelessness. That was you, valedictorian, 3 jobs, sleeping in your car. Elena's face went blank. How my father funded that scholarship. He believed kids like you deserved chances. Someone who fought that hard would understand giving others opportunities. Pause. What happened? When did you forget? Her hands clenched. I didn't forget. I learned the world doesn't reward compassion. It rewards strength. Show weakness, people exploit it. The only way to survive is being harder, smarter, more ruthless than everyone else. Her voice cracked. If you care too much, you lose. No. If you care too much, you win. Just differently. Elena's eyes were wet. You don't understand. I've spent 15 years clawing up, sacrificed everything to get here. And you just inherited it. I spent 6 months cleaning toilets, 6 months on $18 an hour, 6 months being invisible to people like you. Don't talk about privilege. That was temporary. You knew it would end. You had millions waiting. I had nothing except this job, and now you're taking it. I'm not taking it. I'm offering a choice. Leave with generous severance, reputation intact, or, he paused, stay. As president and COO, you run operations, make strategic decisions, but report to me and learn to lead differently. Elena stared. Why? Because my father believed in you. Because I've watched you work until 2 a.m., fight for this company like it's your child. That dedication is rare. I don't want to lose it. Just redirect it. Toward what? Toward people, not just profits. He extended his hand. What do you say? Elena looked at his calloused, scarred hand. Proof he'd lived the life she'd forgotten. For a moment, Marcus saw past the Ice Queen to the scared 18-year-old sleeping in her car. I don't know if I can, she whispered. Yes, you can. You've already survived. Now you just remember how to live. 10 seconds. 20. Then slowly she shook his hand. One condition. Name it. I want to meet your daughter. Lily, right? If I'm learning to see employees as human beings, I should start with you. Understand who you're fighting for. Pause. Maybe I need to remember what it was like being 8 and scared. Marcus blinked. This wasn't expected, not rage or tears. Okay. Saturday, Pancakes, my apartment. Elena nodded, released his hand, turned to the board. You all think I'm an idiot for staying. No, Jennifer said softly. We think you're brave. Brave or stupid. Elena grabbed her bag, looked at Marcus. I'll need your address. I'll text it. She headed for the door, stopped. Marcus. Yeah? I'm sorry. For treating you like you were invisible. For not seeing you. Her voice dropped. For not seeing any of them. I know. Do you? Because I've spent 15 years building walls. I don't know if I can tear them down. You don't have to tear them all at once. Just make a door. Let people in one at a time. Elena smiled. Small. Sad. Real. Pancakes, Saturday. Don't burn them. No promises. She left. Board members exhaled collectively. Jennifer looked at Marcus with pride. Not what I expected. Me neither. Marcus's hands shook, adrenaline crash. Did I just make a huge mistake? Possibly, Michael said. Or possibly you did what your father would have done. Second chances. Marcus rubbed his face. I hired a PI 3 days ago, dug into her background, found a scared kid who learned the world punishes weakness, who decided surviving meant becoming sharp, untouchable. So what now? Now I pick up my daughter, tell her Daddy isn't a janitor anymore, and hope I can live up to Dad's legacy. He walked out past his cleaning cart, toward the elevators, toward whatever came next. Behind him, Jennifer. Marcus, your father would be proud. Marcus's throat tightened. Thanks. He rode down 22 floors, walked past security, mailroom, cafeteria, out into San Francisco sunshine. Text from Elena. Saturday, 10 a.m., I'll bring orange juice. And Marcus, thank you for not giving up on me. He smiled, typed, thank you for not giving up on yourself. He got in his Honda and drove to Lily's school. She ran to him, backpack huge, ponytail lopsided. Daddy, you're early. Special day. He scooped her up. How about ice cream? Really? But it's Wednesday. Breaking all the rules today. He crouched to her level. Lil, something big changed today. No matter how things look different, I'm still your daddy, okay? Lily frowned. Are you sick? No, I got a new job. A big one. Bigger than cleaning? Yeah. Does that mean a bigger apartment? With my own bathroom? Marcus laughed. Yeah, we can do that. Cool. 3 scoops of ice cream? 2. Don't push it. They walked hand in hand toward the car. Behind them, TechVision Tower rose into the sky. Inside, Elena was processing what happened, figuring out who she wanted to be. And Marcus, CEO, chairman, single father, was exactly where he needed to be. With his daughter, getting ice cream on Wednesday. Living proof that power meant nothing if you forgot what you were fighting for. Saturday would come. Elena would arrive. They'd make pancakes, have awkward conversations, maybe find a way forward together. But today was Wednesday, and today his daughter wanted ice cream. Saturday morning, 9:47 a.m. Marcus stood in his small kitchen wearing a faded MIT t-shirt. Lily sat on the counter in her purple dress, swinging her legs. Is she really coming, Daddy? Yes, baby. Is she pretty? He thought of Elena in the boardroom, sharp suit, red lipstick. Yes. Do you like her? Marcus set down the whisk. Mrs. Rodriguez talks a lot. You're always sad, Daddy, even when you smile. The words hit hard. I'm just busy. The doorbell rang. 10 Gaudus a.m. Elena stood in jeans and a white blouse, hair in a ponytail, no makeup, holding orange juice and donuts. Hi, you must be Lily. You're really pretty. Elena laughed. Thank you. I love your socks. Are they supposed to not match? Yes, it's fashion. Daddies never do. Elena glanced at Marcus. Something passed between them. Can I come in? After breakfast, slightly burned pancakes, they played board games. Lily showed Elena her artwork. This one is Daddy at work. See the cape? My daddy is a hero. Marcus's throat closed. Elena said quietly, he is a hero. At 2 p.m., Lily fell asleep. Marcus and Elena washed dishes, bumping elbows. I'm terrified, Elena said, of failing, of not being able to change. Marcus took her hand. You're here, playing dragon games with an 8-year-old. If you were incapable of change, you would have walked away. I almost did. 3 times. She paused. Your father funded my scholarship. I found the records. He gave me a chance, and I destroyed everything he built. You transformed it. The numbers are thriving. The people are suffering. I became everything I hated. Elena's eyes were wet, then become something different. I don't know how. Yes, you do. Elena looked at their joined hands. I'm not good at being vulnerable. It's not weakness, it's strength. Then I need help. Will you help me? Yes. Elena laughed through tears. Mrs. Rodriguez arrived with tamales, saw them together. Ay, Dios mío, you have a girlfriend. After she left, Elena's phone buzzed. Emergency board meeting Monday. Investor concerns about transition of power. Let them test us. They could tank the stock. Then we'll show them we're a team. Marcus crossed his arms. Unless you don't think we can pull it off. Elena's eyes narrowed. Is that a challenge? Yes. You realize I'm incredibly competitive. I'm counting on it. She grabbed her bag, started toward the door. Stopped. Marcus, thank you for not giving up on me. Thank you for not giving up on yourself. She paused. Mrs. Rodriguez was right. I am beautiful. Then she was gone, leaving Marcus with certainty that his revenge had turned into something dangerously close to hope. Monday, 8:47 a.m. The TechVision boardroom was packed. 12 board members, 17 institutional investors, 4 major shareholders, and a Bloomberg reporter who'd somehow gotten wind of something big. The air smelled like expensive cologne and nervous sweat. Marcus stood at the head in a charcoal suit, his first in 6 months, feeling the weight of 34 eyes on him. Elena sat to his right in navy blue, face an unreadable mask. Her hands were folded on the table, perfectly still, but he could see the tension in her shoulders. They'd texted all Sunday, strategy, talking points, ways to present a unified front, but this was different. This was blood sport. This was the real test. Jennifer Wu called the meeting to order. Marcus Chen has assumed his position as chairman and majority shareholder. Elena Brooks continues as president and COO. I'm sure you have questions. Several. Gerald Hastings, representing a $400 million stake, leaned forward. Silver hair, Harvard MBA, old money that thought tech was beneath them. Marcus Chen has no experience in American markets, no track record with this board. We're supposed to just hand him the keys. My father built this company from a garage. I built the Asia-Pacific division to $8 billion over 12 years. I've earned the keys. Shanghai is not San Francisco. The Asian market is completely different. Can you really? I speak 4 languages. I've negotiated with governments on 3 continents. I've built businesses from scratch and turned around failing divisions. And for 6 months, I've worked at every level of this company, from mailroom to maintenance, to understand it from the ground up. Marcus's voice was steady. Yes, I can. Silence. Gerald's face reddened. Speeches don't run companies. Results do. And I see no evidence. The evidence is in the performance. Elena's voice cut like a blade. Every head turned. Marcus spent 6 months observing, learning. In that time he identified $2 million in operational inefficiencies I had missed. He documented 47 workflow improvements. He built relationships with every department, and he did it while earning $18 an hour. She met Gerald's eyes. That's not inexperience. That's leadership. Marcus felt warmth bloom in his chest. She'd just defended him, publicly, to investors who could make or break them both. Are you staying, Ms. Brooks? Gerald asked. Because the market is confused. Some reports say you resigned. Others say you're staying. Which is it? Elena didn't hesitate. I'm staying. Why? And the question hung in the air. Marcus saw Elena's hands clench under the table, saw the calculation in her eyes. She could play it safe, give a corporate answer about exciting challenges and growth opportunities. She chose truth. Because I was wrong. For 14 months I ran this company like a machine. I optimized, I cut costs, I drove profits. And I forgot that companies are made of people, not spreadsheets. I forgot where I came from, who helped me, what mattered. She paused. Marcus reminded me, I'm staying because I want to build something better, something that honors his father's legacy. Silence. Then Sarah Kim started clapping, slowly, then faster. 3 other executives joined, then half the board. Gerald Hastings did not clap. Very touching, but I want concrete plans. Every phone buzzed. Michael Torres checked his, went pale. Wall Street Journal. Someone leaked that Marcus worked undercover as a janitor. What? Elena grabbed her phone. Oh my God. Michael read, Marcus Chen spent 6 months as a janitor to spy on employees. Questions about corporate espionage and whether this was a publicity stunt. The room erupted. Gerald stood. This is a circus. The stock is already dropping. Down 4% in 2 minutes. Did you spy on Ms. Brooks? Gerald demanded. I wasn't spying. My father's will required. Did you hide your identity? Yes, but then how is this not espionage? Gerald turned to the board. I move for immediate investigation. Suspend Marcus Chen pending review. I move that you sit down and shut up. Elena's voice was ice. She stood, walked until she was next to Marcus, shoulder to shoulder. You want to talk about espionage? For 6 months, not one executive bothered to learn Marcus's name, to see him as human. You want to investigate? Investigate that. Gerald sputtered. That's not... It's exactly about that. Marcus worked 14-hour shifts for $18 an hour. He scrubbed toilets. He cleaned up after people who treated him like furniture, because his father wanted him to understand what it meant to be at the bottom. She paused. And instead of exposing me, instead of humiliating me, he gave me a second chance. The room was silent. I'm not proud of who I was, but I am proud that I'm standing here next to someone who believed I could change. She looked at Marcus. So if you want to investigate him, you'll have to go through me first. Marcus stared at her. The woman who'd forced his resignation 4 days ago was now defending him like he was worth dying for. Thank you, he said quietly. Don't thank me yet. Elena turned back to the room. If we're doing this, building something better, everyone deserves the truth. The whole truth. Elena, Marcus started. No, they need to hear this. She took a breath. 15 years ago, I was homeless, living in my car, working 3 jobs. Then I got a letter from Stanford, full scholarship. Someone had seen my grades, my story. Someone believed in me. She pulled out her phone, held up a photo. This is the letter, and this is the signature. Richard Chen, Marcus's father. He paid for everything, and I never met him, never thanked him, never knew until 3 days ago. Marcus's heart stopped. You found the letter. I found the letter. And I realized everything I have, everything I am, I owe to a man who saw a scared 18-year-old and gave her a chance, who built this company on compassion, not cruelty. Tears streamed down her face, and I destroyed it. I spent 14 months destroying everything he believed in. Elena. Marcus reached for her hand. She let him take it. So if you want to suspend Marcus, fine, but know this. I'm going to fight for him the way his father fought for me, because that's what leaders do. She looked around. And if you can't support that, maybe you shouldn't be investing in tech vision at all. Absolute silence. Jennifer cleared her throat. Motion to suspend Marcus Chen. All in favor? No hands. Motion denied. The meeting continued. But Marcus barely heard it. He was watching Elena, who'd just demolished her walls in front of 34 witnesses, who'd chosen him over her pride. At 11:30 the meeting broke. Marcus pulled Elena aside into an empty conference room. Why did you do that? Do what? Tell them everything. You didn't have to. Yes, I did, because you were right. The only way to move forward is to stop hiding. She looked at him. Your father saved my life, Marcus. How do I live with that? You live with it by honoring what he believed in. I don't know if I can. You just did. In front of investors and a Bloomberg reporter, you chose integrity over image. He stepped closer. I'm in awe of you. In awe? I was horrible to you. You were scared. There's a difference. He brushed hair from her face. We've all been scared. The question is whether we're brave enough to tear down our walls. Elena caught his hand. I'm terrified of this, of you, of caring about someone and having them realize I'm not worth it. Elena, listen, I've spent 15 years alone, by choice, because alone felt safer. But then you walked in and you saw me, really saw me, the scared girl sleeping in her car. She looked up, and I'm terrified that if I let you keep seeing me, you'll realize there's nothing worth looking at. Marcus's throat tightened. You know what I see? I see someone who fought every day to survive, who built herself from nothing, who's brilliant and fierce and terrifying in the best way. I see someone who made mistakes but had courage to admit them. His voice dropped. I see someone I could fall in love with, if she'd let me. Elena's breath hitched. Marcus, too much? Way too much, but also exactly right. They stood inches apart, air electric. Marcus knew he should step back, maintain boundaries. Instead, he kissed her. Soft, tentative. A question. Elena froze, then kissed back. Her hands gripped his jacket, his wrapped around her waist. The world disappeared. When they pulled apart, Elena was breathless. That was unprofessional? Perfect. She laughed. But also a huge HR violation. I'm the CEO. I'll give myself a pass. She kissed him again. Longer. Deeper. Thank you, she whispered against his lips. For what? For seeing me, for not giving up, for being exactly who you are. She pulled back. I'm going to mess this up. I'm going to be terrible at the girlfriend thing. I'm counting on it. She smoothed his tie. And I need to meet Lily properly as your, what are we calling this? How about person who makes me pancakes on Saturdays? Weirdly specific, but accurate. His phone buzzed. Lily. Daddy, Mrs. Rodriguez says you kissed a girl. Is it true? Marcus showed Elena. She grinned. How did she know? Mrs. Rodriguez knows everything. Should I be worried? Very. He typed, maybe. I'll tell you tonight. Lily. Is she nice? Marcus looked at Elena, at her tear-streaked face and smudged lipstick and terrified, hopeful eyes. Yes, she's very nice. And for the first time in 6 months, Marcus felt exactly where he was supposed to be. 3 months later, December 15th, TechVision's annual holiday party on the W Hotel rooftop. Marcus stood watching 200 employees celebrate. San Francisco's skyline glittered behind them. For the first time, every employee, from executives to mailroom to custodial, was invited to the same party. Elena had insisted. If we're changing the culture, we start by treating everyone like they belong. Maria walked past in a red dress, her mother visiting from Honduras. She waved. Marcus waved back. Still weird, Elena said, appearing beside him. Green dress, flat shoes, so she could talk to people. 3 months ago, I didn't know her name. Now, I know she has 6 grandchildren. Progress. Marcus slipped his arm around her waist. 3 months of awkward dates and strategy sessions and building something together. 3 months of falling. How are the numbers? Employee satisfaction up 34%, turnover down 67%, stock up $12 per share. Marcus grinned. Turns out treating people like humans works. Shocking. And the investors. Gerald sold his shares. Everyone else is on board. Your father would be proud. I hope so. Marcus looked at the party, employees from every department mixing, laughing. This was his dream. Daddy! Lily ran toward them, Mrs. Rodriguez trailing. She'd insisted on coming. I'm the chief happiness officer. Lily grabbed both their hands. Come on! They're doing speeches. Jennifer Wu was at the microphone. I'd like to invite our CEO, Marcus Chen, to say a few words. Marcus walked to the microphone, looking at 200 faces. I'm not much for speeches, but 18 months ago my father died at his desk. He'd been working on a plan to save 300 jobs. He was 68, should have been retired. But he was here because his job wasn't to maximize profits, it was to protect people. Silence. When he died, he left me this company, but also a condition. Work anonymously for 6 months at every level, because he wanted me to understand a company is only as strong as its weakest link. Marcus looked at Elena. For 6 months I was invisible. I watched, and I learned that the people who keep this place running, the ones who clean floors and answer phones, they're the backbone. If we don't see them, we've failed. Applause. My daughter asked if I was a good boss or just a boss, and now I know I'm trying to be the kind of leader my father was. The kind who sees people, values them, remembers we're all just trying to do our best. He raised his glass. So here's to second chances, to remembering who we are, and to my father who believed every person in this room matters. The applause was deafening. Elena met him at the stage, kissed him in front of everyone. That was perfect. I had a good teacher. Come with me. Elena grabbed his hand, led him to a quiet balcony. Lily followed. What's going on? Elena pulled out an envelope. I found this last week, in your father's office, locked drawer. Her hands shook. I wasn't sure if I should give it to you. Marcus took the envelope. His father's handwriting for Elena Brooks, to be opened after 6 months. You haven't opened it? It's about you, about all of this. I think you should read it with me. Marcus opened the letter, started reading aloud. Dear Elena, if you're reading this, Marcus has completed his 6 months. You've discovered his identity. And you're still at TechVision. I want to explain why. Not to humiliate you, not to test you, to save you. I've watched you transform into someone cold, ruthless, and I realized you were becoming the people who hurt you, the executives who treated you like you were worthless. But that's not success. Success is my son, who built a billion-dollar division by treating employees like family. I knew if Marcus came in as CEO, you'd quit. So I created a situation where you'd have to look at yourself honestly, where you'd meet someone who'd been at the bottom and climbed to the top without losing his humanity. You deserve that scholarship. And you deserve this second chance. Here's my final gift. Marcus's mother, Lily Chen, was your mentor in college. The teaching assistant who helped you through Econ 201, who tutored you for free, who wrote your MBA recommendation. That was my wife. Lily died 12 years ago, but before she died, she told me about a brilliant young woman, a fighter. She told me to watch out for you, to help you, so I did. And I'm asking you to believe in Marcus now, to help him carry forward what Lily and I started. You're not defined by your worst moments. You're defined by what you do next. With hope, Richard Chen. The letter ended. Marcus stared, vision blurring. His mother had mentored Elena, had seen something worth saving. I didn't know, Elena whispered, crying. Your mother, Lily, she was the only person who believed in me, and I never knew her real name. And when she stopped coming to office hours, I thought she'd moved on. I didn't know she was dying. She was dying and still helping students. Marcus's voice was rough. I named my scholarship fund after her, the Lily Chen Memorial Fund. I funded 47 scholarships. Elena showed him the website. I never told anyone why. Marcus stared at his mother's name. You honored her, even without knowing. I didn't do enough. Your mother saved me, and I became everything she would have hated. And then you changed. Because she believed you could. Because somewhere inside, you believed it too. Marcus pulled her close. Daddy? Lily's voice. Why are you both crying? Marcus crouched, pulled his daughter close. Because sometimes happy and sad get mixed up. Did you know my grandma? Lily asked Elena. Elena knelt. Yes. She was one of the best people I ever met. Then I'm glad you knew her, and I'm glad you know us now. Elena made a sound between laugh and sob. Me too, sweetheart. Marcus looked at them. His daughter and the woman who'd become more than his COO. The woman his mother had believed in 15 years ago. The woman his father had trusted to carry on their legacy. My mother would have loved you, Marcus said. Both of you. Do you really think so? I know so. She believed in second chances, in seeing people for who they could become. He smiled. You've become exactly who she hoped. Inside, the party continued. Employees dancing, laughing, being human together. And Marcus knew this was what his parents had wanted. Not just success, but a place where people mattered, where second chances were real, where love could grow in unexpected places. Come on, Lily said, tugging their hands. They're cutting cake. They walked back inside together, father, daughter, and the woman slowly becoming family. Behind them, the San Francisco skyline blazed with light. Not because of money or power, but because of people, because of second chances, because of love that grew in the most unexpected places. 1 year later, the photo on Marcus's desk, Lily, Marcus, and Elena at the beach, all three laughing, covered in sand. Lily in the middle, arms around both. Elena's engagement ring, modest, elegant, catching the light. Another photo, Tech Vision staff at the annual picnic, all 237 employees, every department, one family. And one more, Richard and Lily Chen on their wedding day, young and hopeful. Marcus looked at his parents' photo every morning, reminded himself what mattered. "Marcus," Elena stuck her head in, "board meeting in 5. Ready?" "Always. How's the Lily Chen Memorial Fund? We just funded our 100th scholarship. Full ride to Stanford for a kid from Oakland who was living in his car." Elena smiled. "Your mother would be proud." "She'd be proud of you." "Of us." Elena kissed him. "Now come on. We have a company to run and pancakes to make tomorrow." They walked out together, hand in hand, toward whatever challenges the day would bring, as partners, as family, and somewhere Marcus was certain his parents were smiling.